Dear Thai, dear Roshi, dear respected teachers, and dear noble community. So welcome to this Dharma talk entitled The Heart of the Sangha, Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings on building beloved community. So in true Plum Village style, we're going to begin with a song of practice. And these songs are really integral to our mindfulness practice in the Plum Village tradition. They are as integral as sitting meditation or walking meditation. So they are a deep part of our practice. And we know that music is not mood neutral, right? Music gladdens the heart. And so we sing. So you're invited to join me. And we actually did this a couple of days ago. And Leah, my friend here, we sang it together. So you're invited to join in. And again, a song of practice. So we begin in Gasho. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I am solid, I am free, I am solid, I am free, in the ultimate I dwell, in the ultimate I dwell. One more time. I have arrived. I am home in the here, in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here, the now. I am solid, I am free, I am solid, I am free, in the ultimate I dwell, in the ultimate I dwell. Thank you. So I'd like to begin with a gratitude and to thank Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. Everything that I'm about to share with you comes from Thai and from the Plum Village community worldwide. So I want to acknowledge them, and especially Blue Cliff Monastery, the monastics and the lay friends. And speaking of acknowledgements, of course, I want to acknowledge Roshi Joan and this extraordinary community that is Upaya. Thank you so much for all of your warmth and generosity. And then again, speaking of acknowledgements, I want to acknowledge that my feet are touching the ground here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, the traditional lands of the Tewa people. And so I want to extend my deep gratitude for their stewardship and their care and love of this land. And since this is a talk about how to build community, I want to offer a welcome that really honors and recognizes the various aspects of our lives and we have a mic, so you're going to be invited to participate. So, yes. So I want to welcome people of all gender identities, all gender expressions, whatever your race, your culture, your ethnic background, that is welcome. Whatever your sexual orientation, whether you are new to the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh or you're very seasoned, thank you for being here. Whatever your immigration status, your economic status, all of that is most welcome. To the ages and stages that we're at in our lives, to our bodies, remember our bodies. So whatever shape or size or medical condition we are facing, whether that condition is visible or not, all of that is welcome. And how about welcoming our emotions, the edginess, the blissed out, whatever you're feeling at this moment. All of that's welcome. How about the languages? So we know we got English going on, but I know there are other languages in this community. So for the residents who are here, I would invite you to just say the word welcome in your own native language. Would love to hear that word welcome in your own mother tongue. Would someone like to speak? And yeah, Kodo, you could pass the mic.
So in Japanese, yokoso.
Beautiful. Thank you.
In Italian, benvenuti, and in Spanish, bienvenidos.
Beautiful, welcome. And for the folks in the Cloud Sangha, saying the word welcome, whether by sign language or otherwise, let's say that to yourself, really welcoming yourself.
In French, bienvenue.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Any on this side? No? Okay.
I can do in Irish.
Irish.
Yes.
Please.
Oscuelga, Fáilte of Clare.
Beautiful. Thank you. To listen to that word. Munchin, please.
Welcome. I was actually just grabbing the microphone, but welcome.
Thank you. So we could keep going, but we won't. But just to welcome all of the various aspects of who we are. So the structure for this talk. You know, offering a Dharma talk is not an individual matter, right? It is both individual and collective. So we are co-creating this talk together. So your true presence, the way you listen, is the way we co-create this together. So Thich Nhat Hanh, or Thai, has said that our life is our message. Our life is our message. And as a Quaker, we have an expression that embodies this universal truth. Let your life speak. Let your life speak. So during this talk, I'm going to be sharing from my personal experience as it relates to Thai's teachings on building beloved community. And since I am speaking from my personal experience, obviously, this is a work in progress, right? There's a saying that we teach what we need to learn the most. So that's to say that I'm not checking in as an expert, right? But as someone who is learning and growing right alongside you. And since I'm speaking of self, I'm aware that there are obviously non-self elements, right? But I will be speaking about the historical dimension of self. But we know, of course, that there is the ultimate dimension of self, where there is no birth and no death, no being and no non-being, no after and no before. So again, the focus. Thich has written more than 100 books, right? He is known for his teachings on engaged Buddhism and on interbeing, coining this term, interbeing. And so I'm going to be sharing just like a tiny corner of Thich's teachings, beginning with Thich's teaching, not so well known, on volition. I spoke about it a tiny bit a couple of weeks ago. Thich's teaching on the art of suffering, the practice in the Plum Village tradition of mindful breathing, and the Plum Village process of reconciliation to build a harmonious community. Now that's a lot, but let's see, let's see how far we get. And the term beloved community, just to be clear, is a term that was popularized by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And here he was referring to a society in which peace and social justice for all beings would prevail. And of course, Thich and Dr. King were friends, but that's another Dharma talk. So the first teaching on volition. So Thich has said that, and written about this, that volition is a nutriment. It's a kind of nourishment. It's something that nourishes us from the inside and the outside, right? And in the teachings, there are 4 different kinds of nutriments. Volition is the third of the 4 kinds of nutriments. The first being edible food, right? So what we consume, what we eat or drink, and this can be wholesome or unwholesome. And we need right view when we consume, when we shop, when we eat, when we drink. The second is sense impressions. So we're constantly absorbing through the eyes and the ears, through the books and the conversations that we have, through these sense organs. I'll skip to the 4th nutriment, and that is the food of consciousness. So this is both our collective consciousness. You know, we live in a society, we're not separate, and the individual consciousness. And some of this is healthy, and some of this is quite toxic. And then volition, or intention. And this is intention that is motivated by a heart of bodhicitta, a heart that is wide open with love. And Thich calls this volition the very ground of all of our actions. It arises out of volition. This is how important it is. So each evening here at Upaya, we end the day very beautifully with an evening gatha, a chant. And I'm wondering if someone would be willing to speak that chant. And Bonnie, I think you have the words, you can screen share. We have the mic. So would someone be willing to offer the chant? We know who's got elected, but anybody could do it.
Would I like to do it? Would you like me to chant it or speak it?
Whatever you'd like.
Oh my God, I'm blanking because not everything's coming before it. May I respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken, awaken, take heed. Do not squander your life.
Thank you. This is volition. So how do we apply this teaching, this gatha, to our life? So again, our life is our message. So I'm going to share from my personal experience. So I didn't pass the New Jersey bar exam to be a Dharma teacher. I had pretty simple intentions and they were crass. I'm not proud of it. You know, the intention was to make money and to get out of Brooklyn. And Brooklyn was not the swanky place it is today. So I did a lot of running. You know, it was filled with violence, running from poverty, running from fear, running from violence. But something happened in 1995. I'm sitting in my brother's apartment in New York. I shared this a little bit a couple of weeks ago. My brother Trevor opens the newspaper and there's a picture of Thai. He's giving a public talk down the street at Riverside Church. My brother Trevor knew zero about Thich Nhat Hanh. He knew zero about Buddhism, but he knew a lot about me. He knew I was filled with violence, aggression, anger, hatred. And he said, you might want to go down there and listen to this person talk. And I did. I walked out of the talk skeptical, very skeptical, because everything Thai said was the opposite of the way I was living my life. But a seed was planted that day that began to grow. And over the years, with the support of the Sangha, my values changed, my volition changed, my intention changed. So because I was a lobbyist is someone who tries to get folks to do something they otherwise would not do, to persuade them to do stuff that they don't want to do. I spent a lot of time at work and not much time on the cushion. So I said, why don't I start practicing meditation at work? So I'd stand in the halls of Congress or in the state capitol with my business suit on, marble floors. And I would do just what I just did here. I would feel my feet on the ground. And then I would begin to calm my body, feel the breath in my body. And rather than trying to convince or persuade the other person, the most conservative Democrat, the most liberal Republican, whatever, I would generate within myself a feeling of genuine and sincere interest in the other person, really trying to understand the other person first. I wouldn't open my mouth until that was a sincere and genuine feeling of understanding the other person. How do you feel? What do you want? Why does this matter to you? And what began to happen was that my lobbying changed. And people would say to me, gee, you don't seem like a lawyer. It's like, so intention, volition is a practice. So an example where my intention and action collided. So many years ago, I was offering a retreat at Blue Cliff Monastery. And there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. And because I was a more senior member of the Order of Interbeing, I was asked to be in the kitchen, to do the pots, to do breakfast, set up, while Thai was giving this great Dharma talk, and then going for a walk with all the retreatants in the forest. But I was stuck in the kitchen. So needless to say, I was pissed off. And so I did my shift in the kitchen. I came out, took off my apron, and I'm walking around the Blue Cliff Monastery campus, and I'm looking down at the ground, and I'm like, and I missed the Dharma talk, and I'm just like fuming. But something said, look up. And so I looked up, and about 50 feet in front of me was Thich Nhat Hanh with about 500 retreatants walking toward me peacefully and slowly. And in that moment, I just had the common sense to join my palms and to bow to this great teacher, and then to move to the side with my palms joined as these hundreds of people walked by me. So my service was out of alignment with my intention. So Thai says every morning we need to rededicate ourselves, right? Before we go to sleep, ask ourselves, did I live in the direction of my ideals, my volition? And maybe it's a half step, a half a movement. We don't compare ourselves to others. We don't beat ourselves up. We just see, am I moving in this direction? And Patricia Loring, a Quaker, a wonderful Quaker writer, describes intention as directionality of our being that shapes and guides our particular purposes, kind of directionality. And so a corollary to all of this is the Buddhist teachings on aimlessness. Aimlessness. It is considered a door of liberation, together with signlessness and emptiness. But here I want to focus on aimlessness. Other people often call this wishlessness. Master Lynchie described this as businesslessness. Businesslessness, yes. But here's the thing. We don't put something in front of us, right, and go chase it down. And that because what we want, guess what? It's already here. You got it. And so these words came from Shams Tabrizi. Shams was, of course, the spiritual teacher of Jalaluddin Rumi. And here's what Shams said. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me. There is a great secret here for anyone who can grasp it. When I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of stress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me. There is a great secret here for anyone who can grasp it. Shams Tabrizi. So in our walking meditation, we're not trying to arrive anywhere. We've already arrived. In our sitting practice, we're not trying to get anywhere. We're simply enjoying our breath and our steps. So another example with Thai. At Blue Cliff Monastery, many years ago, we were expecting a huge crowd of people. They were bussed in from everywhere. About 1,500 people, could have been 2,000, I don't know. It was a huge crowd. And so Thai arrived. I was there early with other members of the order. And about 48 hours before this huge crowd of people were to arrive, Thai said, we're going to go on a hike and a picnic. And I said, but wait a minute, we've got 1,500 people coming. So the retreat isn't the goal, right? The goal is to enjoy the moment. So the second teaching on building beloved community is the art of suffering. So I was very lucky that in 2014, I accompanied Thai and the Sangha to Spain. And we did walking meditation in the streets of Barcelona. And I think, Bonnie, you have a photo of that for the Cloud Zendo. And I did my first flash mob, like thousands of people, like doing meditation, just random. It was awesome. And, you know, Thai toured the world with this message of the art of suffering, the goodness of suffering, that suffering has a redemptive quality to it. And of course, you know, Thai's wisdom is with many people. So I really love the words of Morrow Lindbergh. She has very specific instructions about this, about the goodness of suffering. So here's what Morrow Lindbergh says. I do not believe that sheer suffering teaches. If suffering alone taught, all the world would be wise, since everyone suffers. To suffering, we must be added mourning and understanding and patience and love and openness and the willingness to remain vulnerable. That is the elements of suffering. And the writer and activist Resmaa Menakem, the author of My Grandmother's Hands, he has a similar idea of this distinction. And he makes this distinction between clean pain and dirty pain. So clean pain is choosing integrity over fear, and standing in the fear with integrity and moving toward the unknown. An alternative is responding with dirty pain, Resmaa says. And dirty pain is when we respond to fear and conflict from our most wounded parts. And obviously those parts require our love, right? So we respond from dirty pain. This creates more pain, both for ourselves and within the community. So Thai has said that when you know how to suffer, you suffer much less. So we allow mindfulness, our mindfulness, to embrace our suffering, and we get relief. But embracing suffering seems counterintuitive, right? Who would want to do that? Who would want to do that? But this is the path of practice, to actually embrace our suffering. And here we have specific teachings on shamatha and vipassana. So shamatha has two elements. Shamatha, the quality of shamatha is stopping, to stop, right? To pause, to notice the habit energy of dodging, distracting, right? And Thai says that the function of meditation is to recognize and to work with these habit energies. And this is an art. We're beginners. The second aspect of shamatha is calming. So we stop and then we calm the body and mind. And so the process is to recognize what states of mind are arising, to accept them. Matter of fact, not just accept, but to embrace them tenderly. And when we are calm enough, we can look deeply and perhaps gain an insight. And this is vipassana, to look deeply and to gain an insight. We often jump to the first, to the second, the insight, without doing the stopping and the calming. And so this is transforming the mud into the lotus. This is the practice of transforming suffering. So I'll give you another example from my own life that just happened a couple of weeks ago. And I discussed this with Roshi, Joan, and with Wendy, because I thought it was pretty cool. So we were in session, and this was like day 5 of session. And so I'm sitting there meditating, and an enduring vulnerability comes up. And this enduring vulnerability for me is, I am not lovable. So I'm feeling that I am not lovable. And it's like a dagger in my heart. Like, I could just feel it, the pain. And then I said to myself, let me shift from these words of I am unlovable and to feeling, okay, what does this actually feel like? Embrace it. And I could feel, the kind of dagger. And then just like in the next moment, the thought came in my head, I have chocolate covered almonds and blue corn chips in my room. And what if I put those out on the counter for other people to enjoy it? And then I shifted my focus from that thought to the sensation in my body. And I felt my heart again, but this time the feeling wasn't a dagger. It was radiating. It was enveloping this entire area of my heart, solar plexus. And what I took from that was that this sense of generosity is so much bigger, can support, the part that is feeling so wounded. So the third practice, the practice of conscious breathing. So nearly all of Thay's books contain a very basic message that the energy and the practice of mindfulness, concentration, and insight through that, we can embrace our suffering. We can calm the body. We can calm the mind. We can be peace. We can create peace. We can be love. We can create love in the world. And as a member of the Plum Village community, we actually take a training on being aware of suffering, to understand it, to listen to it, to embrace it, to practice with it, to know the roots of suffering. Once we've done all of that, then we can help other people, right? And this is the meaning of this brown jacket. And this is the color brown, like the earth. We are here to be of service to other people, to be available to other people and to ourselves. And this begins with conscious breathing. So we breathe in. I breathe in. I know I am breathing in. This is not an intellectual knowing. I breathe out. I know I am breathing out. I breathe in. I follow the in-breath all the way through. I am concentrated. I follow the out-breath all the way through. I breathe in. I'm aware of my body. I breathe out. I calm my body. I release the tension. And this is the practice of conscious breathing. So shall we try that? So breathing in, I'm aware of this in-breath. Breathing out, I'm aware of the out-breath. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath all the way through. I follow the out-breath all the way through. Breathing in, I'm aware of my body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my body. Breathing in, I release any tension in my body. Breathing out, I release any tension in my body. And this is the practice of conscious, mindful breathing. So the fourth practice from Thai, this is the practice called flower watering. Flower watering. And this is part of a much larger practice that we as members of the Plum Village community engage in on a weekly basis. It's a practice of reconciliation called beginning anew, beginning anew. And there are three parts to beginning anew. The first is flower watering. The second is to express regrets. And the third is to express our difficulties. So this is a chance to share our appreciation of another person, someone in our Sangha, mentioning a specific instance where someone did something that we really admire, we really appreciate. So we shine the light on that, on the person's strengths, right? And of course, this involves right speech. But another element to flower watering that I really like is shining the light on ourselves too, not just the other person. So for many of us, it's very difficult to see the positive in us, to accept that within ourselves. It feels immodest, that we don't deserve it. We can be really hard on ourselves, you know. We can hold ourselves to punishingly high standards, and then people around us too. So in some ways, it's easier to heap praise on other people than to hold ourselves with, kind regard. So we call this the practice of selective watering, cultivating what feeds the positive within us in small ways, in big ways, and in our community. In the neuroscience, there is a corollary to this, and that is called experience-dependent neuroplasticity. Experience-dependent neuroplasticity. Big word for everything matters. The books we read, the conversations we have, all of this shapes us. We are absorbing through these doors. But very often, too often really, the good around us is a flyby. We are unaware of the beauty that surrounds us. So this is experience-dependent neuroplasticity, is the practice of taking in the good, what surrounds us, right? And in the Plum Village tradition, we actually have a practice of becoming aware of the factors in our life, right here and right now, the reasons to feel happy, to feel grateful. Thai says, write it down. This helps us to acknowledge it. Happiness is our birthright. We tend to be really good at pursuing happiness, not so good about generating happiness within ourselves. And this is about generating happiness within yourself, recalling the positive within and around us. And what this actually does is that it releases a hormone in our body called oxytocin, often called the love hormone, because it's associated with feelings of trust and empathy and belonging. You know oxytocin very well. So when you were born, you came out of your mother's womb. You rested on her chest. That was a moment of being flooded with oxytocin, right? She looked at you. So for just a moment, consider the good qualities within you, the good deeds, what you are grateful for, the conditions that are present right now. Something that puts a smile on your face just by thinking about it. So notice how you feel just by thinking about it. That is flower watering. So to recap, the heart of the Sangha, volition, is the ground of all of our actions. And we should regularly rededicate ourselves to volition. The second, there is an art to suffering. And when we know how to suffer, we suffer much less. Third, stopping, calming, looking deeply. This transforms suffering within ourselves and within our community. And conscious breathing. We reunite the body with the mind. And this is an act of self-regard, self-worth, self-love. And finally, cultivating flowers, flower watering every day to see the good within us and to see the positive within the people within our Sangha. So the heart of the Sangha is love. The heart of building beloved community is love. So I want to close with a gatha that I wrote. I wrote this when I was going through a steady string of complications. And after my brother passed last year. So this gatha is to close. No matter what, choose love is the name of the gatha. In every breath you take, choose love. No matter what comes together or what is pulled apart, choose love. When life is flowing or when life is frustrating, choose love. When you feel alone and unsupported, choose love. No matter what you understand or despite what you have yet to figure out, choose love. No matter what has been done to you and whatever you have done to others, choose love. No matter what you're able to accept or forgive, choose love. On your worst day, on your best day, choose love. Today, every day, choose love. Always, always, choose love. Thank you.